Pokemon Masters, Birdkeeper Toby here. What are you doing here? Your Pokemon don't look dead. You should go home. Pokemon Masters, Birdkeeper Toby here, and I think I'm freaking out a little bit. I've just come back from Lavender Town, and I think I'm now suffering from Lavender Town syndrome. There's a noise, a tune in my head that's telling me to kill myself. Is that a white hand on your shoulder?
Toby, stop spooking the viewers, even if they do look kinda like a Marowak. Here, why don't you let my voice keep you company? Sound is always good in the dark. However, not the sound of Lavender Town from the original Red and Green version that could cause you to kill yourself. The story goes that after arriving in Lavender Town in the original game, many children began having headaches, vomiting, and hundreds ended their own lives.
So this was due to prolonged exposure to the music of Lavender Town, which after the incident, Game Freak had to recall all the original copies of Red and Green and release new copies with an altered tune. But of course, that's just a creepypasta, a story we tell ourselves, right? The quietest controlled environment on the planet is the anechoic chamber in Orfield Laboratories. This chamber absorbs 99% of all the sound in the room because of its foam walls. And scientists and researchers on site claim that just to stay in the room for 45 minutes with no sound other than the sound of your own heartbeat and the blood flowing through your head is enough to make you hallucinate.
Of course, what Toby is talking about is the absence of sound and light deprivation as well. But what it demonstrates is how the senses can cause the body to react. Smells can cause you to retch with disgust or become attracted to someone. Pokemon has sent children to the hospital before through sight in the episode Porygon Soldier. In this episode, different lights flashing at different times cause hundreds of children to vomit, have headaches, and even go to an epileptic shock. So what about sound? Can it really influence your actions? I already discussed on my own channel how people have a hearing range of 20 Hz to 20 kHz, whereas dogs can hear from 40 Hz to 40 kHz. However, our hearing diminishes as we get older, normally beginning around the age of 8, meaning that there are things that kids can hear that us adults can't. This is used in areas where teenagers normally loiter. Companies will install what is called a mosquito alarm, which will emit a constant frequency that only teenagers can hear to annoy them. So how does this translate to Lavender Town?
So yes, you can annoy somebody with sound, or you could make them hallucinate without it. You can also relax them with something called binaural beats. Binaural beats have become very famous in the alternative medicine community as they are said to induce relaxing states. The effect was discovered in 1839 and the premise is that your brain gets affected because of a difference in frequencies in each ear. Let's say you had 30 Hz playing in one ear and 40 Hz playing in another. The binaural beat is 10 Hz. Interestingly enough, binaural beats fits with the story of Lavender Town syndrome, which was said to only affect children who had headphones in, which is the only way that a child playing the games will be able to hear a difference in tone.
Claims about binaural beats state that the effects can range from relaxation to the effects of LSD, but could it cause you to kill yourself? Well, maybe. There's currently no known form of using sound to literally control someone's actions. However, after some experimentations, it has been discovered that some binaural beats can trigger negative emotions such as fear and paranoia. What is very interesting about this is how these negative effects are normally found in the much higher frequencies, such as the beta and gamma waves, and as I mentioned before, children are able to hear things us adults can't. In fact, we have been playing some high frequency tones this whole time that I have been speaking. I'm sure some of you guys were able to pick them up and others had no idea. This is what makes that Lavender Town syndrome even more scarier because there could have been something there, but a lot of us just could not hear it.
Now, as I mentioned earlier, part of the story is that the original Red and Green version had a different track to Red and Blue version, and this is in fact true. If you look in the game's code, the track in Red and Green was set an octave too high for children to hear, which supposedly caused headaches and nausea. It seems that this Pokemyth did have a basis, but I wouldn't feel too safe yet if I were you, because sound can kill you. Sonic weaponry is in development all over the planet, and while it may sound very Doctor Who, the truth of the matter is that if you get blasted with ultra high frequencies, it can turn your eardrums to mush and even kill you. Oh, and did I mention that sound can make you see ghosts?
In 2004, a man named Vic Tandy was investigating a haunting in his laboratory, only to discover that the apparition that had been appearing was in fact the result of a newly installed extractor fan. The sound vibrations affected people's eyes, making them see a ghost, similarly to how the original tone of the Lavender Town was also affecting children's vision. It seems that between the binaural beats that can cause you to be paranoid, or the visions that can be triggered by simple vibrations, the way that sounds affects us the most is not physical, but psychological.
So, if there's one thing that we know for sure, it's that the sound and information that our body inputs on a daily basis can be altered with. Our perspective is kind of a guard blocking us from seeing the truth. Did Lavender Town Syndrome really happen? Was there a mass suicide of children who were playing the original Red and Green games? It's unlikely. That said, every story has its basis. Did some lonely child become paranoid from hearing an odd sound? Perhaps saw an apparition because the sound affected their brain. Maybe a lonely individual took their own life, not out of control but out of fear for what they saw after entering Lavender Town. Who knows, Pokemon Masters? Anything can happen when you're alone in the dark.
You just watched a video by Bird Keeper Toby. That makes you a